Welcome everyone to CBC Comics, the comic show we do weekly, hopefully weekly, depends. You almost didn't get one today actually because there's nothing. It's kind of really depressing, and yeah, we'll see how this one goes. It's going to go regardless, so I apologise right now for how awful this one's going to be. But to get into it, I'm Mitch. You can follow me as always on Twitter at Mitch692. You can follow the channel, Google Comic Bookcast. You'll find us everywhere. Timestamps will be in the description. Not that you're probably going to need it for this one. It might be like 15, 20 minutes long. But, you know, if you want to skip about, don't care about half of it, which I wouldn't blame you, they're right there. But to get into it, DC have announced the road to Watchmen because DC need to milk this Watchmen cow for everything it's worth. And probably then some. But it's going to be a collection of the old Charlton comics, so like Blue Beetle and Question. For some reason, the solicit says that it's Rorschach and Night Owl, which I get why they say Rorschach and Night Owl, but the cover says the Question and Blue Beetle, but just say Question Blue Beetle. But what's it gonna have packed in there? We have Captain Atom from 66, 83 to 86 issues. Blue Beetle 1 to 6, Mysterious Suspense number 1, Charlton Premiere number 3, the Charlton Bullseye from 75 number 1, number 5, the Charlton Bullseye 1981 number 1, Americomics number 3, and Americomics Special number 1. So if you've ever been interested in what inspired Watchmen and where the character's inspiration ultimately came from, probably going to be a good get. No doubt they'll repackage it like everything else. They reprint and have like 1,000 different hardcovers, then digital editions, then international editions, then slipcases, then they'll probably do some like concept art, some director's cuts, maybe then some other stuff. You know, there's many times you can reprint 12 issues or something leading up to 12 issues is beyond me, but they find a new way, and it obviously makes money. Chat, I've already switched the screen, thank you very much. So, I was ahead of you this time. But yeah, I don't know, it's cool. Like, it's unfortunate that they need a reason to reprint the Charlton comics, but it gives them bigger exposure, so I suppose it's never really a bad thing. Especially the older comics, you know. Good old Steve Ditko getting his due. Because not everyone knows Steve Ditko ultimately was the inspiration for Watchmen. Like, he did a lot of this stuff. So, obviously it was after like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and all that, but, you know, man's legacy lives on. But speaking of Watchmen, the inevitable delay for Doomsday Clock number 10 has been announced. They're probably going to announce delays every week again, like issue 9 had, because, you know, what's his name, Gary Frank, only just finished number 9 recently, so number 10 is going to be just constantly pushed back. Hopefully this one comes out quicker, but again, ultimately, so much for the guaranteed bi-monthly that Johns gave. When did he say that? Was it January last year? Yeah, January 2018. So much for that bi-monthly promise. But, you know, the longer it goes on, the less relevant this book becomes. Because it's not exactly relevant now, but I'll get to that later on. So yeah, if you liked issue 9 and you're excited for it, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait at least another couple of weeks. When's it been pushed back to? I can't remember. April 10th, which is 2 weeks later than previously solicited. So it's not. At least they're like doing it 2 weeks now instead of just doing it one every week. Because yikes, that was not a good look for anyone. Why? You'd be like, oh, here's a week delay. Here's a week delay. Here's a week delay. You know, maybe you just give it a month and then say it's delayed. Maybe like unsolicit the entire thing and then just tell us when it's coming out. I get why they have to solicit it and tell people it's coming out because, you know, it's business, but, you know, it's already a bad look for them that it's been, what, we're in March, issue 10's out in April. January, February, March, April. That's 4 months. And then you've got 2 issues on theirs, and God knows when they're going to come out. So you're looking at least, a 20 months thing for 12 issues. It's nuts. And I know people are like, oh, it's no different to Earth 1. It's no different to the original Watchmen. It's no excuse. It's absolutely no excuse. No, it's 12 issues. I know they're longer. They're, 30 pages as opposed to 20 pages. That's 32 pages. My apologies. But there's no excuse for a delay like this. It's nuts. Alright. Yeah, it's bad news, but I suppose at least they're trying to keep the quality of it up, so you can't be that mad. Would you want a rushed good, an ugly good comic, or would you want both? They're swinging for both, I suppose. Can't be that mad about it. Moving on from that, I spoke about it last week. Mike Deodato announced he's retiring from mainstream comics, and he's going to focus on more indie stuff and create her own titles. I'm certain it was the next day they announced what he's doing next, and he's teaming up with Jeff Lemire, who he did work on with Thanos for those 12 issues. I want to say, was they Donny Cates stick that over at issue 13? I could be wrong on that. My memory is a bit meh. But Jeff Lemire and Deodato Jr. are teaming up for Berserker Unbound, and you will be forgiven for thinking this is just a Conan ripoff, because it looks like a Conan ripoff. Not necessarily a bad thing, but you can kind of see that Deodato Jr. wanted to do Conan. I'm not even sure if he got Conan. I know he's doing it in a Savage Avengers, obviously, because that's his last book at Marvel, but I'm not sure. Did he do... Who's the Conan? I apologise about the typing. Marvel Conan teams. Who's actually doing them? I know the writers, but I can't think. Oh, thanks Wikipedia. Could have given me like the recent ones, not the last one from '93. Anyway, if he's doing it, then I'm wrong. No, I'll take back everything I just said. So, but Deodato Jr. says he kind of like wanted to draw something like this, and it'll make me wonder if he didn't get Conan. That's part of the reason why he's decided to go. And it sounds a bit petty, but then again, an opportunity arises. Why not do it? He'll get more rights this way. So, good luck to him. I'll probably read it. They say it's not going to be as it looks. It's going to be a bit unexpected, which I'm all here for. It sounds very Conan-y as well. No, it sounds very Conan-y. But, and again, Conan's hot, so not hot in that way, we know. Hot money, recently. So, it's cool. It's nice that he's carrying on. He's doing something that he wants to do, so more power to him. Plus, it's Jeff Lemire on it, writing it as well, so it's not going to be bad. No, I haven't read a bad Jeff Lemire comic yet, so... And I probably won't until I read one. But hey, that's the way it goes. Moving on to the last piece of news. I told you this was going to be a real short one. But hey, 10 minutes. Woo. Jason Aaron, he doesn't verbatim say, but the implication is really heavy and on the nose. But he's essentially announced that he is stepping off of Thor after 6 years, 2012? 6-7 years. He announced on Twitter, he said, my Thor run began in 2012 with God of Thunder #1. Since then I've written 80-something Thor issues across multiple series, and it's all been building towards the War of the Realms. Needless to say, I'll be looking to go out with a bang. Thanks for reading along the way. So, my pleasure, Jason Aaron. You haven't gone wrong, haven't put a foot wrong with this series at all. It's, it's one of those once in a lifetime runs where you get to come in, put your stamp on it, and then leave on a high, and like not overstay your welcome. Because you could kind of compare it to Dan Slott, where he did overstay his welcome with Spider-Man. That was way too long. Admittedly, he stayed on for longer than Aaron is on Thor, but way too long. Ran out of ideas. should have left years ago. Should have completely stopped that Superior. You know, Jason Aaron's like, no, I've been building to this. This is my end game. This is my end point. My jumping up point. Done. Do something else. But then again, it's not. You know, it's not like he's gonna not be writing Thor anymore, because the guy's still in Avengers, and Thor is a key component of Avengers. He also has to explain why Thor has the gold arm and the gold Mjolnir, because that's currently nowhere. I imagine it's because of Odin. Like, what Odin's been doing, like trying to make Thor a hammer. It'll kind of. It's kind of there. If it's not the case and he throws a complete curveball, fair enough. But yeah, it's, you know, again, 6-7 years on the same run. Dude wants to do something else, so I look forward to what he announces next. You know, maybe he just puts everything into Avengers. Maybe he goes and does Ghost Rider, because people love Jason Aaron's Ghost Rider run. Haven't read it personally, so it's been on my to-read list, but heard nothing but good things for that run. And if he does Robbie Reyes and carries on his story and actually does something unlike what Felipe Smith did, because that was a big yike. But hey, we'll find out soon. So thank you, Jason Aaron. Thank you. Not that you'll ever listen to this, but you know, thank you for actually making me interested in Thor. Because what a run! What an absolutely I agree, chat. It's an amazing run. Absolutely amazing run. But that will bring us to the comics of the week. Starting off with Champions number 3. Jim Zub is known for playing in continuity, and it's no different here. He actually nabs a one-off character from Sam Alexander's Nova run, which ties in nicely to like the Black Order, because she was a slave approximately midnight. Yada yada yada. I can't remember what happened in that issue apart from just that and her name, but there was some reason why she was sent to kill Sam. But obviously, she's now out for revenge on Sam, and Sam's depowered. So how the hell is he going to do anything? There's a lot of good character moments in this issue. Obviously, the whole Mephisto thing, or Mephisto with Miles and Cho, and no one else knowing but them, and the whole trading lives. Miles does end up going back to Dubai behind everyone's back, and Kamala does end up finding out that he's gone there, so she follows him. And next issue is going to be all the feels, because the confrontation between those two is going to be pretty tense. So yeah, but it's a fantastic run, really good run. Absolutely loving this series so far. If you any fans of Dust out there, Dust makes a brief cameo. That's if you know who Dust is. Very obscure. But it's nice to see that Zub's actually going to be doing something with Sam, because he's sidelined Sam since Infinity Wars, and he's done nothing. And it's like, why do you hate Sam, Jim? Give Sam some, put some respect on Sam. But moving on, I have Justice League number 19. I think I finally clicked with the direction that Snyder's going and what he's actually planning to do. It's very much trying to build up the cosmic side of DC. DC has the cosmic side, it's great. In comparison to what Marvel has, I find it a bit lacking, but then from what Snyder's a massive Jim Starlin fan, so it feels like he's really trying to not necessarily recreate, but make his own version of that. And Perpetua's, she's the thing that made the multiverse, and there's all these tears, and it's kind of, you can make the really easy comparisons in this. They go to the sixth dimension, well, they talk about the sixth dimension, like how it's the tip top of everything, and only certain beings can actually make it. They're allowed in there because they're this powerful. It kind of feels like the in-between bit of the Marvel multiverse, where the Living Tribunal goes, like where the all Beyonders came from. So you can make an obvious comparison. It's just how I deal with everything. So I kind of like that. But it's a really good issue. They do a really interesting bit with I'm going to butcher the name, Mixelplick. That's how I pronounce it anyway. But it's a really interesting bit with that, because obviously he's a higher being than everyone else, so he's the only one that can figure out how to get them to the sixth dimension. And of course all this is leading to the whole Justice League of Tomorrow, whatever. I can't remember what exactly they're called, but Superman goes to sixth dimension, Superman comes back, but it's not ours, clearly, because there's no way. Like, they try to pass it off, he's been in there for a decade, but there's no way after 10 years that guy goes grey. I don't believe that at all. So, but fantastic art. Who is it? I can't remember the artist's name. Is it Jimenez? Jorge Jimenez? Certainly is. Yeah, Jimenez. Yeah, fantastic artist. It looks great. It looks stunning. Kind of want him back at Marvel because it's not fair. It's really not fair. But no, it feels like after like 19 issues, this series just finally like actually hitting its stride. So I'm all on board for it for a change. Sticking on Team Books, Avengers by Jason Aaron, issue number 16. Last issue, Robbie was taking over by the what is it called, the vampire hellhound thing. Can't think of it. So he's like on a rampage, and we get a nice little, not in a monologue because he's in hell, and like his version of hell is a traffic jam on the highway. Because why wouldn't it be in California or New Mexico, wherever he is? So he get really nice character moment in there. He does meet what I think we're led to believe is Johnny Blaze. I don't believe it is Johnny Blaze. Yes, Blaze is still in hell because he's now the king of hell. Spoilers if you didn't read Damnation. But he doesn't read like Johnny Blaze unless he's spent too much time in there and he's kind of like, time works differently in hell and he's spent millennia and he's a different character now. I don't know. A lot of really good action in this. Apparently Captain Marvel can survive the penance stare. So for all you people that don't like Carol Danvers, she's just got that little bit more OP. So how many people can survive the penance stare now? You got Thanos, you got Punisher, Carol. I can't think who I assume the Hulk could survive the penance stare. I assume he already has. I can't, off the top of my head, I just can't remember if he has or not, but Deadpool, yeah. So you got 5. Now, the penance stare is slowly just becoming useless. Because why would half the people use penance? But it's a cool moment. If you don't like Carol, then you're kind of tough luck, but she gets a little bit more OP. Fantastic art again, because it's David Marquez. Really interesting bit with Dracula and the Shadow Colonel. And I wish they'd go into the Shadow Colonel's like boy thing he's got again, because they haven't really touched upon why he's got that. Like, obviously you know why, because it's so he can have stakes for the minigun, but like, how did he get it? Why is there a second man thing? Or how did this boy thing become boy thing? Like, it's not hugely important, but it's just kind of like, it's there for the sake of being there, and I kind of want to know why. But they make new vampires in the prison where the Russians are keeping Dracula, or they're is it harbouring the right word? Yeah, harbouring Dracula. So crap's about to kick off. The penance stare is just a sideshow. My best bits. I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that bit. Yeah, cool. Thanks for showing me that. Next up is Doomsday Clock number 9. It's finally getting to what they sold this as. So it's finally, they, after the whole explosion thing with Firestorm in the last issue, which issue 8 was a while ago, so you'll be forgiven for forgetting that. But everyone just packs up and goes to Mars. They don't know how they know it comes from Mars. I don't know. I don't think it's really explained. But they're there. They're heading to Mars. They know exactly where he is and who's doing it. But yeah, it's literally everyone you could think of, and you can kind of tell that inside DC, this book has lost its relevance, because they said that the current continuity is a year behind this book, so everything's behind this. This is in front of everything, and it's been well over a year, and nothing is even touching this. We no longer have Dick Grayson. You have Rick Grayson. In this, you have Dick Grayson. So, when are the changes going to happen, and how? The Justice League book, the main one you would have thought would be leading into this is nowhere near reference, like even getting to this point. In fact, it's probably dealing with bigger issues than this anyway. But at the same time, it's kind of contradictory. Yes, you could probably Snyder could probably make his story fit in with this, but dealing with something that apparently made the multiverse and like how the multiverse works to Doomsday Clock, where it's implied Dr. Manhattan made the DC universe. Like, what's the point? And unfortunately, at this point, it's I'd say Snyder's doing a better job than John's. It's a weird situation for them to be in. It's really weird, and this Lex isn't the same Lex as the Justice League one, and it just feels odd and out of place. This really feels like it's not in continuity in the slightest. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of at the end say it's no longer in continuity, because why? It holds no relevance. Nothing's. I'm just repeating myself. Like, nothing's even remotely hinting. This is where they're going. Like, I understand that books have got to do their own thing, yada 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 yada. But it's like, this is supposed to be the culmination of Rebirth and everything, and the books have seemingly moved past Rebirth, and it's I will no judgment from me from giving up on it, because I'm close. Like, this issue's good. It does actually do what they sold people on doing. It does kind of feel like two different stories. Like, you had the first 7 issues were about like the new Rorschach and everything, and now he's just a homeless guy in the street. So, like, why? Like, what was his purpose? Like, maybe he could play another part in the next 3 issues, but I'm not putting money on it, because then I don't know. I think this was really mishandled, but there's a nice little bit with the whole Superman theory, and that actually kind of being proven right with Firestorm. So it's nice that one little thread has kind of worked its way from the first issue, but I'm struggling to see like what's relevant about half of it. I really am, but I mean, hopefully it ends well. It's all I can really hope for. I don't know. I'd wonder if I feel differently if it was on time and we finished it by now, and this was like, what was it, issue 9? So it'd be like September. This should have come out, but I don't know. It's weird. Any other book, like, I'm not reading Heroes in Crisis anymore. I dropped that thing hard. If this, is any other book, I would have just completely stopped. But I feel like I'd have to kind of see how this is going to play out. But I might stop reading it issue to issue and just wait until the next 3 and then binge everything together, because it's really not doing itself any favours. But on to my last one, which is going to be Avengers No Road Home number 4. This is the origin story of Nyx, the Queen of Night. She was kind of a blank slate character anyway, and so they've had free reign. But if you've ever watched Hercules, the Disney one, she's essentially Hades. She was there. Well, she's not essentially Hades, but she was there at the start of the universe. Everything was black. The stars came about. Zeus came about. Zeus didn't like Nyx. Nyx kind of wanders around Olympus. There's all these Zeus makes Olympus and all the gods just to spite the darkness that she has, because he doesn't like it. And then all the snidiness and the backstabbing for Nyx in her time at Olympus actually makes the children. Like, she just spawns them, and they're all like, her feelings, her fifis manifested. It's an interesting origin. And then, of course, it ends up, Zeus backstabs her and betrays her, and, well, I say backstabs, betrays her, it's not that case at all. But, he conspires against her and then just throws her into a pit of night. And there, her last child is born, the big weird squiddy thing. That seems OP as all hell. But it's heavily tied. Like, they say it's a spiritual sequel to No Surrender. It's heavily tied into No Surrender. They hinted at it earlier in the previous issue. They're hinting at it here now, going like, oh, look, the reason this is happening is because of No Surrender. So, It's what it is. I'm fine with it. It's cool. I like the fact that the whole moving of the Earth from the Grandmaster actually, influences this story. It's nice, when you have someone like Zab who's a continuity nut, like, play with your own canon. Right? This is obviously all in canon, but play about it. But Nyx just kind of destroys everyone, and you find out the whole MacGuffin thing, that the shards of night are actually her heart and her soul. Like, they're all called different things. I can't remember what each one's called now. I think it's like the night that was, the night that is, and the night yet to come, or the night that will be. I'm pretty certain that's what they are, like past, present, and future. Like, it's really cool. It's cool. I like it. But it ends off with, because you can't have an Avengers series written by Ewing without a massive Hulk moment. We had a massive Hulk moment in No Surrender, and this here he now seemingly has the powers of Nightmare, and he's in Nightmare's castle with Nightmare's horse and Nightmare's sword. What's Nyx's son name? What's the name? God, I can't remember. The one that does like all the dreams, and he has the army of this, like, the dreamless sleepers. Like, it's going to be like a hell of a bat-sane issue, next one. But yeah, if you're not reading No Road Home, I highly suggest it. It's 4 issues in. We're at the halfway point is going to be this week. It's only 10 issues, so unless you're waiting to trade read it and just do it all in one, then fair enough. But if you've got any interest in it, I suggest go issue by issue, because it's a fantastic series, and hopefully we get one next year, because I need more of this creative team. So yeah, that's going to bring me to an end of this show for this week. So thanks everyone for listening, and I will catch you all probably on Wednesday, because I'm seeing Captain Marvel again tomorrow. Bye!